small disclaimer. I am not sure whether I should credit Rhino in this video. Epic Rhino Hunter. Because this is not a predictions list. This is not supposed to be, I'm going to be amazed if any of these happen. This is simply just some seasons that I would like to be in the game. Which is why I'm trying to differentiate it from the season predictions list. Because I don't want to end up in the same situation as my good friend, Mid. Mid CDT. And with that, welcome back to CDT. Today, I'm going to be showing you some seasons that I would like. I've made little seasons tier rewards bars for them. The ones that are usually in this bit. These seasons will operate off of the ladder trophy reward style used between Series 3 and Series 8. You get a reward at 250. No, you get a reward at 100 trophies. Reward on the season pass at 250 trophies. Well, I can't remember. Look, here's how the rewards ladder looked from the season 6, I think. There. That's how all these season tiers would work. Because I don't like how they've made you get 500 more in the recent, for the last 2 rewards in season 9. And with that, let's get into things. My first idea for a season is a rally season. Little known fact, the event where I got my Delta Integrale and my Subaru 22B from was kind of like a pre-season. It was a trophy event, so a season but smaller and lasted for less time. Anyway, I really like how this season looks. At 250 trophies, you get your hands on Paddy Hopkirk's Mini Cooper S from 1965. It's a rallying Mini. Classic Mini. Looks great. I think it would work really well as the first reward. Then on the season pass, at 500 trophies, the most modern car there, the Hyundai i20N. I really like this car. I prefer it over the current Fiesta ST, which is no longer current because I think they've put it out of production now. Damn. It's a really nice hot hatch. It's a manual and it's a little baby hot hatch as well. So they're the ones that focus on drivability rather than power. I like it. Then at 1,000 trophies, Bacon Poo, you're going to like this one. The Lancia 037 Stradale. So, for those of you who don't know, Bacon Poo is the person that drives the rival car in most of my videos. I've also borrowed his SSC off of him for a video. And quite soon you're going to see the EB110 Supersport. That's also going to be his. Anyway, this is the road-going version of the 037 rally car. I honestly love it. It's Bacon Poo's favourite car. It's a gorgeous little Italian rally coupe. They're great. This is also the last rear-wheel drive car to win a World Rally Championship, 1982, before Audi went and started winning in the Quattro in 83. Then after this, instead of getting a wrap, you get, on the season pass, for 1,500 trophies, the Mitsubishi Evo 6. The one that Tommy Mackinnon drove. Very nice. The classic 22B finally gets a proper rally mate. Formerly, it would have gone against, well, the car from its events, the Lancia Delta Integrale, or it could have maybe tried to go against the fat, stupid, and terrible S209, which I hate, and I don't even want to call it an Impreza. It's horrible. Oh, I'm ranting. Nice. Anyway, it's a great car. It was always the Impreza's rival. Very cool. And another thing that's very cool, at 3,000 trophies, you will unlock an OZ Rally Racing wheel. I think these were used on Cozzies, Escort Cosworths. Oh, nice. 917 Kurtzek. They were used on Impreza Cosworths. I think they might have also been used on Evo 6s and... which one's the other one they were really commonly used on? Anyway, they were used on quite a few different rally cars. They're very cool. They have a lot of rallying heritage. I like them. And then the final reward on the tier, the season pass, the Lancia Stratos. I mean, it's possibly the ultimate off-road supercar. Yes, get fucked, Porsche 959, Porsche Dakar, Hurricane Sterato, Tuthill Porsche, etc. I love these things. They're just an iconic wedge-shaped supercar from the 80s. Very cool, very nice. Only they're not the ultimate off-road supercar. Because what is the ultimate off-road supercar is this. The Ford RS200 Evo, unlocked at 6,000 trophies. The finale of that season. Now, I've got to admit, I am slightly biased. I adore these things. They were my favourite cars for quite a while. And even now, I still adore them. I have so much respect for them. Proper Group B cars. They're like the epitome of a Group B car. Ford showed up to Group B and then practically ended the damn sport because those RS200s were lethal. Please, Foxy, make them lethal in this, just as a joke. If you do make this season, of course. Please do it. This is the rally version. It's not the homologation special. But the homologation specials will be the 037 and the Veloster N? I-20N. Ken Block had one. The Hoonigan RS200. These things are absolutely nutty. 600 horsepower from a 1.8. So you can see why they're the finale to the season. So that's my rallying season. Let's move on to the next one. Which is, to be honest, the one with the highest chance of winning. Winning? No, not winning. Actually becoming an official season. It's pretty cool. And it's this. The off-road season. Yeah, as I said, this is the highest chance of getting in. I would like Foxy to build a proper off-road race for this as well, because I have long bemoaned that off-road cars are now pretty much useless because they don't have a proper off-road race. Anyway, starting off my very cool off-road season is the car that started off off-roaders in general, the Willys MB Jeep. Love these things. Little army buggy, technically. Is it a buggy? Army car. From America. Got turned into the Series 1 Land Rover. Which was better. And I'm saying it's better because I'm British. These things are very cool. I would like the option to remove the front windscreen or fold it flat or something. Because that would be just a lovely little Easter egg. And then 500 trophies on the season pass. The Land Rover Defender. This one's the 110, I believe. It's also the 1980s one, so when they first started getting called Defenders and not Series 1, 2, and 3. These things are very good, perfect for rural conditions. Also were declared by Top Gear back in 2004 as the greatest car of all time. Very cool. And now, at 1,000 trophies on the season pass, I feel like this one may get a little bit of backlash because it's kind of a clone car. The Toyota Tundra. And the reason why we're going to get a little bit of backlash, we already have the Tacoma pickup in CDT. So why do we get the Tundra? Well, it's a more modern one. It's got a Lexus grille, by which I mean it's got a massive gaping hole in the front. It's quite cool, kind of like a modern version of the Hilux. And as we know, the Hilux also has ties to Top Gear because they found out it was indestructible. Nice. Moving on to the second pickup, and it's a Euro pickup. I don't think we have any of those in CDT, so this one's going to be unique. It's a modified Mercedes X-Class from a people called Cardex, I think? I can't remember the name. But it's really cool. I like the X-Class. It's pretty cool, and I keep saying pretty cool, to be honest. I need to stop. But moving along from that, we actually really like this car. I do anyway. Don't care about anyone else. Anyway, after this, 3,000 trophies, you unlock a wheel. It's quite cool. I don't remember what the name of it is. But it's apparently one of the best off-roading wheels you can get. And I do see them used quite a bit when I look at off-roaders. I think they're used on the... Which version of the Land Rover E-Defender is it? Anyway, those people that make the really fast Land Rover Defenders, EVs, they use that wheel. Very cool. Well, the E-Defender itself is very cool because it's stupidly quick. After this, the final reward on the season pass. And this is a car I love very much. The Bowler Wildcat. This one out of all of these has probably the biggest ties to Top Gear because back in Season 1, Hammond drove one of these and said, "I am a driving god." Quite embarrassing on-air phrase, but it became kind of funny and a running joke in the early seasons. Those cars are unhinged. Absolutely visceral, stupidly quick off-road and on-road. In fact, I think you can beat a DB9 on any surface as long as it's a DB9 from that period. Oh wait, no, because the DB9 is from that period anyway. But still, nutty, insane, stupidly quick. You love to see it. And then let's take that up a notch for the 6,000 trophy reward on the standard season pass. So not the season pass, just the standard free season. It's another lunatic, this time from America. And a fitting end off to the season. The Ford Bronco R. I love it. It's stupid. It's pointless. It's pretty much unstoppable off-road though. I need one in my life. That thing's basically the modern version of the Bowler Wildcat. Only even more stupid. Because it's got American power. And the Americans do power pretty well. Only this thing can actually corner, supposedly. I think this has taken part in Dakar. Some big off-road racing event, anyway. I don't know which one. I don't follow off-road racing. But still, very cool. Great way to end off the season. And this is probably the most likely to be an actual season. At least the theory of an off-road season is, anyway. Let's move on to the third season. And this one sort of is a bit personal to me. British classics. I'm a British person and I love classics. In fact, the first car really hits home for me. This is the Morris Minor, launched in 1948, made until 1971. And the reason it's personal to me, my dad has one. He hasn't used it for ages, and it's because of me that he still has it, because I won't let him sell it. It's a brilliant car. This was, I think, the first British car to sell over 1 million units. And it was in production, how long was 1948 to 71? 23 years? Nearly 24? Very long time. I want the second generation, the Mark II, because instead of having all the lights on level with the grille at the bottom, they sort of go with the bulge in the bonnet. Which is, pretty cool. Looks nicer to me. Although that may be biased towards me. And I'll have it in black, just like my dad's. Moving on. The Ford Fiesta 1.1. 500 trophies on the season pass. This is an absolute staple of Britain, to be honest. Back in the 80s, everybody's first car was either an Escort or a Fiesta 1.1, and I think that continued for quite a while. I'm going with the Mark 1. I'm not sure if I should have chosen the 1.1 or, one of the spicy ones like the XR2 or the RS 1800. Actually, no, not the RS 1800. That was the Mark 3. We ignore that one. But yeah, these things are very cool. I love them. I love all of the classic Fiestas, to be honest. But, the original Fiesta is a personal favourite. And then for 1,000 trophies on the season pass, one of the original Caterhams, the Caterham 7, named just like the Lotus 7, which is the car it's actually based on. Short story. Back in the 60s, Colin Chapman, the founder of Lotus, he made a little kit car called the 7. Cool. Then in the 70s, Caterham acquired the rights because Lotus stopped selling the 7, and that means that every Caterham you see today is actually a Lotus. Only it's not, because they're actually really different to modern Lotuses. This one's one of the originals. I didn't want to use a Lotus 7 because we've got a Lotus coming up later in this season. I don't want to repeat car brands. It's bad enough with 2 Suzukis in the bike season. Anyway, now what we have, with 1,500 trophies on the season pass, you can unlock yourself. Love this thing. The Aston Martin DB4 GT Lightweight. The Le Mans Racer. It's an endurance racer, but specifically for Le Mans. These things are gorgeous. I mean, seriously. Absolutely stunning. I wasn't sure to go with the DB4 GT Lightweight or the GT Zagato or Zagato. I think it's Zagato. But I ended up choosing the DB4 GT Lightweight. These things are brilliant. I'm a massive fan of the DB4. Now moving on, an absolute staple of classic British race cars. I can't remember what the wheel's called. I think it's the MGB Migota? I can't remember what the name of it is. I just knew the shape of it and I googled it because I know it happens to be on the smallest cog MGB race car. Very cool. You see them on everything. Classic MGB, classic MGs, classic Triumphs, the Mini. They're everywhere on all British cars. Even Morris Minors. Although I don't approve because I prefer the standard wheel with the chrome hubcaps. Thank you. And now moving on to what the actual Lotus is. The Lotus Esprit V8. I wasn't sure to go with the Esprit V8 or one of the old, Esprits. I ended up going with the V8 because it was fast. The old Esprits only used to make, 160 horsepower was the S1, so pretty slow. But that's because they were light. The Esprit V8 sort of was nearing its time, but I love them. I just like the fact that Lotus went balls to the wall and put a V8 in the Esprit. Sort of out of the blue, but you love to see it. The one I really like, though, out of this lot, is a failure. 6,000 trophies, you can unlock yourself a lie. The Jaguar XJ220S. Or just the standard XJ220. I don't know the difference. This car is a failure, as I mentioned. Sold out really well, ended up becoming a lie. At launch, Jaguar said it would have a bored out 6.2 litre version of the original Jag V8. They also said it had 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, loads of complex mechanical stuff that Jag couldn't afford. I've seen the concept car in the flesh. So I've seen the bored out 6.2 V8. But instead, the XJ220 was rear wheel drive, rear wheel not steering. It steered from the front like normal cars. And it only had a 3.5 litre V6 from the Metro 6R4. As a result of this, loads of people cancelled their orders. Now they're extremely rare. And you know what? I'm glad. These things are brilliant, and I love them very much. Very cool cars. And a great way to end off the season of British Classics with the second version, the second best British Classic, because we already have the best, the McLaren F1. Now for the final season. And it kind of relates to the car I'm driving right now. It's not a McLaren season though, don't worry. Look at the pictures. See something in common? They're all stripped out supercars. Yep, just like the McLaren F1 LM that I was driving in the last clip, and the Porsche GT3 RS I'm driving in this clip. And in fact, the first car, the 250 trophy reward car, even links to the last suggested season. This is the Jaguar XJS TWR. It's not an official Jaguar car, it's been tuned by TWR, Tom Wilkinshaw Racing. That's a very British name, to be honest. I love these things. I think they're absolutely brilliant. And, I'm already a massive fan of the XJS as it is. That's another failure, to be honest. Only it's not, because people seem to like them now. Good on them. Anyway, very cool cars. I would like to own one. Well, I'd prefer a standard XJS, because practicality and stuff. I'm a mature person. I think about the future and normality. Anyway, here's a car for people that don't. The Mercedes CLK63 Black. Clarkson had one. They're very cool. I honestly really like them. Even if they did have their faults, like quite hard suspension. I think they're absolutely brilliant. I love Black Series Mercs. This one's probably one of the less unhinged ones, like, the SLS Black, AMG GTR Black. But it's still very cool. And here's a really, really cool car. 1,000 trophies will unlock you. The Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera. I feel quite conscious of putting this one in. Basically, the Gallardo Superleggera was part of one of the earliest events in CDT history. It's where the hot rod comes from. 2021 Halloween, I believe. Don't fact check me on it though. These things are brilliant. I love them to bits. I miss my Gallardo and CDT, even if it wasn't a Superleggera. But this one is absolutely brilliant. And here's a car it rivals. The Ferrari 430 Scud. Scuderia. I had thought about putting the 488 Pista in here. That's already in. That's part of the 2020 Christmas event. Which is where we got the Dodge Ice Charger and Pagani Huayra and stuff from. So I put the 430 Scud in here instead. It was either this or the 360 CS. 430 Scud's better. These things were worked on with Michael Schumacher. Other than that, you know, I've never been a 430 person. I know James May had one, which is pretty cool. But the Scud's probably the best 430. It piqued my interest. Anyway, now for the wheel. 3,000 trophies. Einkai. Is it a German word? I can't remember what it's called. And then some letters and numbers, like, I can't remember. The only reason I know them is because they're from Need for Speed No Limits. Yes, I used to play that game. Not much to say. They do tend to look quite good on a lot of cars, though. Which is pretty nice. It's a good feat. Now for the end of the Season Pass. It's not a GT3. This is the 997.2 Porsche 911 GT2 RS 4 litre or 4.0. But that's more of an Americanism. This is, you know, I use the term unhinged lightly most of the time. No, I don't. But this takes unhinged to a whole other level. You know, you see the GT3 RS in this clip. This thing, I think, is actually more powerful and less grippy. They're lethal, and I love them for it because, you know, it's a Bond film quote, but how can you feel alive if you don't come close to death? I think that rings true. Guttural, unhinged, love them. Love them to bits. And a car I don't actually love to bits, to be honest. Because they're pretty much race cars that have been made road legal. Taken to the extreme, I mean. The Aston Martin V8 Vantage N24. N meaning endurance. Why didn't they just use EN? I don't know. This car was actually driven in the Top Gear film alongside the Gallardo Superleggera. Best driving road in the world. Series 10, Episode 1. Don't ask me how I know that. I just watched the episode recently, okay? Not that much of a nerd. Kidding. These things, I mean, I know most companies advertise their cars as race cars for the road. This is literally it. Right up there with the Capara T1 for just literally sticking indicators on a car and saying this is road legal now. Totally and utterly impractical. Totally and utterly bonkers. I would hate to live with one. I'd have to use another car. This would literally only be a track day thing. And which is why I think it's fitting, because it's the V8 Vantage taken to the extremes. This is probably the most stripped out car here. And as a result of that, it's ending the season. So that was my lightweight supercars season. And that was also the last season. I have to admit, I do have a sort of fondness for the N24 though. It's just a bit special. In the right way as well. So that is all of my season part of my season wish list. I've got a very long book. Those were the 4 I wanted to showcase to you the most. Thank you for watching. Just a small side note. in the Hunt update, I didn't realise this, but 9 different cars have got interiors. One of those cars is going to be featured tomorrow, in tomorrow's video. Only at the time of recording, that's actually later on today's video. Stay tuned for then. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you later today. This is a very pretty car.